Checked my bank account this morning. There was an extra $250,000. I called the bank immediately, figured it was an error. They said there's no error. The transfer came from an account under my name, an account I never opened. It's been active for 12 years, making deposits, collecting interest. I have no idea where this money came from. The bank won't tell me. They just keep saying, speak to your financial advisor. I don't have a financial advisor. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I went down to the branch in person. The teller looked nervous when I explained the situation, like I just asked her to solve a murder. She called over her manager, a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses who kept adjusting them while he scrolled through his computer. He confirmed everything. Account opened in 2013. Monthly deposits ranging from $1,500 to $3,000. All automatic. All from something called Henderson Trust Management. I'd never heard of them. I left the bank with a printout of 12 years of transactions and a growing pit in my stomach. Back home, I Googled Henderson Trust Management and found nothing. Not a website, not a mention. Just a P.O. box address in Delaware. I called the number the bank gave me, but it was disconnected. That's when I started thinking about identity theft, money laundering, something illegal that was going to blow back on me. Then I remembered my grandmother's funeral. I was 14. She died suddenly, and I barely knew her. My dad's mother, who lived 3 states away and sent birthday cards with $5 bills inside. At the funeral, a lawyer showed up. I remember because he wore a tan suit that didn't fit the occasion, and he spoke to my father in hushed tones near the casket. My dad looked angry afterward. They argued in the parking lot while I sat in the car. I never knew what about. I called my father that night. Dad, did Grandma leave me anything when she died? There was a long pause. The kind of pause that means you've hit something true. Why are you asking about that now? He finally said. I told him about the account. Another pause. Then, she left you money. I was supposed to tell you when you turned 25, but we needed it. Your mother was sick, medical bills. I thought I'd pay it back before you found out, but he hadn't touched it. The account existed exactly as my grandmother set it up. Automatic deposits from her pension, funneled through the trust, growing quietly in my name for over a decade. My father had lied about using it, maybe out of shame, maybe because he wanted to forget it existed. I thought the trust company would have contacted you by now, he said quietly. I'm sorry. I sat there holding the phone, trying to process it. A grandmother I barely knew had been taking care of me from beyond the grave. Every month for 12 years, even after she was gone, her pension had been feeding this account. She must have set it up before she died, knowing my parents were struggling, knowing I'd need it someday. And my father, drowning in guilt and medical debt, had convinced himself it was better to pretend it didn't exist than to admit he couldn't fix everything himself. The next morning, I went back to the bank. I asked them to track down whoever had taken over managing the trust after Henderson closed. It took 3 weeks, but they found a successor firm in Pennsylvania. An elderly attorney named Mr. Carlisle answered the phone. Oh, the Morrison account, he said, like he'd been expecting my call for years. Your grandmother was very specific. Monthly deposits until you turned 30, then full access. She wanted you to have options she never had. I'm 32 now. The money's been sitting there waiting while I worked retail and counted pennies. I could have gone to college without loans, could have moved out of my cramped apartment years ago, but I also understand why my father stayed silent. Some shame runs too deep for confession. I haven't decided what to do with the money yet, but I think about my grandmother a lot now. A woman I barely knew who loved me enough to plan for a future she'd never see.